I want to come into the modeling industry and I want to shatter the way people look at beauty. I want to shatter the way that people look at people.
If people see that you're genuine and you truly care about what you're doing, then they'll rally to your vision as well, and that will help you get off the ground.
I put myself in every situation to check off the list of, can a person with a disability do this? Yes, they can.
It's not like your brain remembers things, but your fingers do, because you just see something and you just do it.
I was at this point in my life where I'm like, why? You know, I'm asking why. Why am I born like this?
The majority of you, when I say the word failure or defeat, you will immediately correlate it with negative. The times where you get your butt kicked, the times where that goal doesn't get hit, that time where you fail on a business plan or whatever it may be, that is where the most personal growth comes from. We wouldn't know what the wins feel like if we never lost. Am I right?
I'm Nick Santanastasso, I'm 22 years old, and I'm a shifter and a shaker of any industry I want to be in. So I was born with a super rare genetic disorder called hand-heart syndrome, and what hand-heart syndrome is basically it leaves the babies with undeveloped limbs or undeveloped organs. I was born with no legs, one arm, and one finger, so I just stand out physically. On May 20th, 1996, I was the 12th baby at the time in medical history that they've ever seen this happen to. 8 have passed away due to undeveloped organs, so they gave me about a 30% chance to live with this syndrome. From the early ages, I didn't realize I was too different. Once I got into middle school, there was some teasing and some name calling, but I had a great set of friends, I had a great support group, a great school. It took a little hinder on my self-confidence, and I didn't feel too comfortable in my skin. I was at a very low state in middle school going to high school. I was out of shape. I thought you were either born with confidence or you didn't have it. And so from the earliest of ages, my parents sat me down and said, Nick, the world's not gonna stop for you. Mom and Dad are not gonna be here forever. You're gonna have to figure out how to do each and everything your way, Nick's way. Skateboarding was one of the first things that my family put me on, and I always compare skateboarding to life because, like I said, we always want to progress in life. We always want to move forward. One day, you know, I told my parents, I said, hey, Mom and Dad, you know, come outside. I learned a trick. And, you know, I went up to the top of the hill, and I come down, flying down this hill, and I come up to my parents on my skateboard. So I come up like this, and I'm flying past my mom on this handstand, and she's just like, oh my God, you know, you don't even have a helmet on. But, you know, I always push myself to progress. I always push myself, whether, you know, it was falling on my face a million times to do that handstand. All my best friends were wrestlers, and so my sophomore year, you know, my friends were like, Nick, you should try wrestling. And I'm like, well, I can't, my arm. And what I mean by that is this limb was about 5 inches longer than it is now, and my bone was growing faster than my skin. So I came home one day, and my parents were very supportive. I came home one day and I said, Mom and Dad, you know, I want to be a wrestler. And my mom was like, oh no, Nick, you know, wrestling's the most physical sport. You know, God forbid you hit your arm, your bone comes through your skin. What are you going to do then? I looked at them, I said, can we cut it off? And with a couple hours of persuasion, my sophomore year, we went ahead and scheduled my amputation. My senior year when I was wrestling, you know, I'd have gymnasiums packed to watch me wrestle. And I came off the mat one time after, you know, losing, and this lady come up to me and she was crying. And she got down on my level and she was teary-eyed and she said, Nick, my daughter's over there on the sideline. And she never wanted to do a sport. She never wanted to do an extracurricular activity until she saw you out there doing it. And this was like my mind-blowing moment, my quantum moment. I'm like, oh my God, you know, I was on the mat for myself. I wasn't on the mat for anyone else. I was trying to dig myself out of this hole in the mat, and I was changing lives passively. And I remember filming the zombie prank where I came at this guy and I was like, rah! And I had fake blood on my face, fake blood on my clothes, and I posted the video and I went to sleep. I woke up the next morning and had over 80,000 likes and over 80,000 revines, and it went super viral. So I did that in under a year. I gained 1 million followers on Vine, and I think from there that led me into bodybuilding. It's like, I'm such a big fan of what you do. It's like amazing, and I'm like trying to hold my inner fangirl in, you know, I'm freaking out. And he's like, can I get a picture with you? And we take this picture, and I look at him, I said, I'm gonna do what you did. And he said, well, what do you mean by that? I said, well, you're The Rock. People knew you for football, and then WWE. And then you took over the world. I said, you crushed every single industry. I said, I'm going to do what you did. And he looked at me and said, Nick, you're right. Because people like me and you, they put us in any industry and we adapt and overcome. And this was just like a moment of reassurance that, you know, I was on the right path. Everything that I do, every industry that I go into, there's always a message I want to bring. And for modeling, we're at a point where, you know, things are being different. You know, people are going in there that are different and they're embracing their differences. And that's what I want to do. I want to come into the modeling industry and I want to shatter the way people look at beauty. I want to shatter the way that people look at people. I live my life in a state of gratitude. I'm extremely, just always grateful. And you know, every day, myself, my tribe, we wake up and we either list 5 things we're grateful for or we write them down. And that's because the emotion of gratitude outweighs all the negative emotion. Whenever I'm feeling down or I'm in a little bit of a slump, I think about like the chances of you being a human being and then the chances of me surviving the 30% chance to live and just being born in this super unicorn body. It's just like, totally like smacks me in the face and gets me back to what I'm focused on. So it's realizing that everything in life is gonna have a little hiccup. It's gonna have a little challenge in front of it, but it's just how am I gonna break through this next barrier?
I always say that having a disability is like a superpower. It's something that people will never understand, but it's so magical in itself. I appreciate the world and my life more than the average person does. My name is Mercado. I'm 31 years old from New York City, and I am a professional model.
I'm in Times Square, you guys. Motherfudging Times Square.
I'm usually one that if I see an opportunity, I take it. And I was like, well, here we go, Jill. Put your seatbelt on because this is gonna be a bumpy ride. I grew up in New York City and anything that was mainstream passes through New York. And I just didn't see anyone displaying diversity or just people who weren't the basic cookie cutter model that society has somehow thought that this was like the model to be. In regards to disability and advertisement, it's usually something like a hospital advertisement or something very degrading. It's never empowering.
Actually, maybe let's start there.
I decided to just be that person that I didn't see and really take the industry and shake things up a little bit and let them know that we are here and I will not rest until somebody like myself who has visible disabilities are on the cover. I've worked with Beyonce and her merch. That was so amazing. I mean, it's Queen Bee. Every work that I've done, I'm so proud of because it's an opportunity for me to further the conversation on inclusion. He was so far beyond his time. Right now, as far as modeling goes, there's so many things to work on for it to be more accessible. Not a lot of people acknowledge that we have to go way beyond to make sure that the world is accessible for us, even though it's absolutely not. You have to have this extra like 7th sense, which is patience.
This is the map I usually check every morning. This will tell you all the elevators that are broken. We can't go on Broadway Lafayette, no, because it's broken. Fulton would be the other place I would go to. That's also broken. Marcy is where I would get off, but that's broken as well. Wait, now, really, I don't know what to do. This elevator is definitely cleaner than most elevators. Usually, unfortunately, people do their business in these elevators and it does not smell good at all.
Where's the best place to stay on deck? Is there no good place?
No. I mean, I do my best to try to get out of the way as much as possible. The only reason I've made it thus far is because I'm really good at finding a silver lining to any horrible situation. It's a gift. As a New Yorker, it's a challenge. Is this a little case? Oh yeah, it's a little case.
Yeah,
I do love traveling. I do love getting myself in the most craziest situations. The craziest thing I've done was go to Burning Man. That was a situation where I was put against all odds. We're so much more than here to inspire other people. And I think that a lot of people might get offended by that. But I'm just here to be a human and to live on this earth as much as any other person. Every opportunity that I get, I value so much, and I do my best to do justice to people who may not have a voice as I do at the moment. I put myself in every situation to check off the list of, can a person with a disability do this? Yes, they can. Yes, I'm that person.
It's not like your brain remembers things, but your fingers do, because you just see something and you just do it, you know? It's like walking. My name is Giovanni Contardi and I'm a Rubik's Cube artist, so I make artwork using hundreds of Rubik's Cubes. The first time I've learned how to solve it, I was able to do it in roughly 3 minutes, which is okay. At the top of my career, my speed cubing career, I was able to solve it on an average of 8 seconds. But now I'm a bit more focused on the artwork, so I kind of lost a little bit of touch, yeah. Pretty much everything started thanks to Instagram. For fun, while I was working as a coffee roaster in Australia, I started uploading my Rubik's Cube portraits online. Everything blew up on Instagram when I had some celebrities repost my work, and that of course gave me a boost, which is what you need on Instagram. Since then, it's when I decided that this hobby could become a job. So I momentarily left my job as a coffee roaster and now I'm just pursuing this career. And I want to take it as far as I can. What do I love about Rubik's Cube? I don't know, for me, it was a big help during my teenage years because I come from a 600 people hometown, which is tiny. So there wasn't much to do. And through Rubik's Cube, I found, you know, how I was passionate about something. I never felt this passion for anything else. And I'm a very competitive person. And so the linking between something that I really like and going to competition, you know, enabled me to go all around the world and meet new friends. And that's what I like about it. After that, I kind of had a moment where, okay, where am I going now with this Rubik's Cube? And so I started exploring the creative side of it. And that's when I started experimenting with art. So this was probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And it's when I started working on my design and see how can I just use 6 colors to create an artwork. My first full-size portrait was actually the Scream from Edward Munch, and that was made with more than 900 Rubik's Cube, which is actually a higher number than what I use now. The first piece I ever sold, it was a Hemi Winehouse portrait. So at the time, I didn't know about the logistic involved in it, so I pretty much didn't make any money out of it. And so it was around $5,000. But of course, I wasn't aware of everything that goes through into framing it and shipping it. But it was a good experience, and I actually went to Amsterdam to deliver it in person so that I could meet the first person who ever bought a portrait for me. That I always leave a little bit of a gap between the frame and the cubes. And this is to show that it's all made with real Rubik's Cubes, because if I inserted all the cubes inside the frame, most people will think that it's only 2 dimensions. And so this is what I like to do so that people can feel it, touch it, and understand the value of the piece. So far, these past 4 months, my business has been going very well, although I just started. I got a chance to do a couple of portraits for people as a Christmas presents and things like that. And especially now, I'm signed with this gallery in New York called Gallery 104. So I'm just preparing for a show. So the artwork that I sold for the biggest amount so far is a 700 Rubik's Cube piece for $29,000 US. Of course, the price might seem a bit high at the beginning, but the reason is that it's all real Rubik's Cube, it's a handmade frame, there is tons of hours of work, so I feel like it's a fair price considering all the amount of work behind it. From a concept to a framed piece, like you can see behind me, that's probably take at least 3 or 4 weeks. The reason behind it is that I normally work on my design, so on my image first of all, and I'll start from a photo and then maybe work up to 10, 12, 15 days on my project. After that, once I have my design ready, it's time to play with the Rubik's Cubes. And that takes me realistically only 2 hours. The reason for it is that I've been practicing for almost 10 years now, and so I got the chance to be very fast at creating a portrait. After that, to get to a framed piece, I would have to order a handmade wooden frame made from artisan, either here in New York or in Italy. And so the whole process I always take that it takes months. So far, I've been purchasing all my Rubik's Cubes online in bulk so that I could save a little bit of money. But I've just become an official Rubik's Cube ambassador, so they're gonna help me supplying with what I need. So that will help me a lot. You can find a good quality cube like this one for around less than $5 a piece, so you can do the math depending on how much I use for each portrait. So most people think that I hate the green color because I almost never use it in my portraits. The reason for it is that the method that I found to create a design doesn't allow for the green color to match as well. So unless it's really, really needed, like on a Joker piece that I made in the past, then I'll try to avoid it. I don't hate green, it just doesn't work very well with my art.
So many people have low expectations for those of us with disabilities. They see the disability and think that's the whole story, but we're complex. My name is Haben Girma. I'm an advocate for people with disabilities. I graduated from Harvard Law in 2013, and I use my skills and talents to remove barriers. Good morning! I'm a woman. I'm a person of color, I'm the daughter of refugees, and I'm deafblind. As a deafblind person in a sighted-hearing world, I struggle to find a system that works well for me to communicate with people. I discovered that if I connect a Braille computer with a keyboard, I can easily connect with people. Most people don't know sign language, but know how to type. As people are speaking, I'm reading their words on Braille through my fingers. Over the years, I've heard of other deaf-blind people also using the system. With me is a small German Shepherd. His name is Milo. He was trained at the Seeing Eye in Morristown, New Jersey. It's like the Harvard of guide dog schools. And now he travels the world with me. Sometimes people wonder, why would a blind person travel? But there's so much to feel and experience and taste. I love partner dancing. I can't hear the beat or see the other dancers, but I can feel the beat through the hands and shoulders of the people I'm dancing with. When I went to Hawaii, I went surfing in the wonderful warm water. I reached out to several surf schools and they told me, we've never heard of a deaf-blind surfer. And then I found one surf school that said, let's find a way, let's figure it out. The instructor surfed side by side. Disability is rarely the problem. The problem is often society creating arbitrary barriers, and we all need to work together to remove those barriers.
Maybe I can just put my hand on Hemi when it's our turn to speak.
I've been thinking about taking improv workshops for a long time. Humor is a powerful tool to help people feel comfortable.
Socks!
As a person with a disability, I can help a non-disabled person relax. We're more likely to connect and get past ableism and stereotypes.
I know there's a very large contract you have to sign. I didn't read it. I don't think there's any rules against it,
I'm still thinking about the fact that you didn't read the contract. My parents had high expectations for me, and that taught me to also have high expectations for myself. I decided to become an attorney when I was in college. I noticed that when I used the Americans with Disabilities Act to remove barriers, it changed the whole culture, and I wanted to continue doing that. I can't let fear control my life. I'm going to instead focus on what I can do. Sign language is a form of innovation. I was told that if I wanted to get a job as an attorney, I needed to go to the best school possible. So I applied to Harvard, even though I thought I probably wouldn't get in. It was worth a shot just to try. I learned that I got in, and I was thrilled. Now I travel around the world teaching organizations to invest in accessibility. The majority of apps are not accessible. We keep asking engineers, developers, design with access in mind.
Reply button.
Because it drives innovation, drives revenue, and benefits all of us in the long run. People with disabilities get called inspirational all the time. And my response is, what are you inspired to do? Allow that emotion to drive change. Disability is not the biggest barrier. The biggest barrier is people telling me you can't do something. Ask people and hold them accountable. Allow me to share a story. All my success shows what is possible when we create inclusive communities and give kids with disabilities an opportunity from the start. Inclusion is a choice.
You're a sock tycoon.
Raccoon.
Raccoon. Yeah, all that too. You were asking, what are you going to do when you're done with school? And we were looking around at options. John didn't like the options he saw, and in fact, the options for people with differing abilities are somewhat limited. So what did you tell me you wanted to do?
I want to go play with my father. I love socks. I love crazy socks. It's fun, it's colorful, it's fun. F-U-N, fun.
John had worn crazy socks his whole life. That was his thing.
I just want my socks to wear. It's my grilled cheese. We have poop socks.
What's our mission now?
Spread the happiness.
Okay. Everything we do is just designed to spread happiness. We've created a unified workplace where people with differing abilities and neurotypical people work side by side. We have no special formula, we have no special training, we have no unusual programs. All we're doing is giving people meaningful work. We believe we are now the world's largest sock store in terms of choice. We carry other people's socks. We now have over 20 different suppliers. Then there are socks that we design and make, our awareness socks or charity socks. We do faster shipping than Amazon, right? We do same-day shipping. And John is always pointing out.
Chef Fisher never put thickener in candy.
Did you have a good day?
Pretty good day. Every day I do enough videos. We have tea bags with a tray and nipple.
You do the thank you videos.
Next videos, sock wriggling.
You do some sock wrangling. You're in a fair number of meetings. You write thank you notes.
Right.
You do a lot of things. Plus you put the garbage out sometimes.
Okay.
We saw an article about how much former President Bush liked wearing crazy socks. So John said, we should send him some socks. So we did. Then he sent John a thank you note, and he sent John some socks.
Dear Sean, thank you so much for the generous gift. Yes, and hold it up. And I hope you enjoy these USO socks.
Want to go make a delivery?
Yes, Dad.
Let's go do it.
Let's do it, Dad.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Okay.
Okay.
Here we are. Go ahead.
Hi, my fans.
What'd you bring me today?
Today, I give you a nice special happy birthday gift socks.
Socks? Can I look inside?
Ah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Von Vance. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, that was awesome. Thank you, guys.
Oh, we're a couple knuckleheads from Long Island selling socks. We're home.
Honey, I'm home.
We hire people with differing abilities because they can do the job. We focus on what they can do, not what they can't do.
I had done that one. Dad never hold me back.
And the people that work with us that have differing abilities,
yeah,
do they do a good job?
Yes.
And do you want people to know that?
Yes, I want the whole world to see.
We're having a fun ride, aren't we, buddy?
Yeah.
It's pretty good. And you know what? You're a pretty good partner to have on that ride, aren't you?
I did that.
When you were a kid, you always wanted, well, I always wanted my own, personal robots. You watch Transformers and you're like, oh, I wish I could have Bumblebee in real life. And the technology that we're building allows you to make those things a reality. The best way to think of a Mechamon is an entertainment platform, or in another word, imagine you could have a Pokemon in real life. So you've got this robot that's got 4 legs, really agile, lots of personality, lots of character. You control it from your smartphone or tablet. The more you play with it, the better it gets. I had flatmates, just thought I was this crazy guy that kept telling them, oh yeah, these robots are gonna be real one day. I did get in trouble when I was a kid, trying to hack computers, and you're in school, there are filters to stop you from accessing the fun websites, playing games and stuff like that. I was always the kid that would try to, bypass those, and then eventually I had my access taken away or revoked. You can learn to code with your Mechamon, you can create skills for your Mechamons. One of the key challenges you have when you start a company at a young age, I guess, is self-doubt. And the only way to overcome that is to believe in yourself. You have to focus on your vision, first of all, and that you are the most qualified person to bring this vision to life because it's your vision. If people see that you're genuine and you truly care about what you're doing, then they will rally to your vision as well, and that will help you get off the ground. Someone's trying to make it floss.
Someone's trying to make it what?
Floss, yeah.